still Black History Month. And y'all know how we do around here. It's always gonna be black around these parts. So one of the reading challenges that I'm going to be doing this year is going to be called Steeped in Black Literature from A to Z. And it is going to be hosted by Booksbythecup. The challenge is over on Storygraph, and I will link that down below. This is a challenge where we are reading Black literature from A to Z. You can use the letter that's in the title of the book, or you could use the author's first name or their last name. So I thought to myself, what if somebody is trying to do this challenge, but they need some book recommendations? So here we are. Y'all know I do black book recommendations all year long, but I figured this would be a very fun challenge, even for myself, because I said, you know, I want to take it just another notch. I want to do black book recs for books that obviously I've read, but books that I also physically own. And let me tell y'all, I did my best. Let's see how I did. Let's see how I did. Okay, if you want to join the challenge, I will definitely leave it linked down below. Also, follow me on Storygraph. Yes, I am still on Goodreads, but I am very much transitioning over to Storygraph as of 2025. So make sure you check me out over there as well. So starting with the letter A, we are going to go with Anywhere You Run by Wanda M. Morris. This is a thriller. This is a historical fiction thriller. Now, I'm not going to be giving y'all the synopsis for all of these because we got a lot of books to go through A to Z. Exactly. So this is a book that I really enjoyed. I have read a couple of Wanda M. Morris's at this point, and this is by far my favorite one of hers. And this is about two sisters that are in Mississippi. They both need to flee their town for very different reasons, and many things happen. Okay, we've got some racism, of course. This is set during Jim Crow era. Definitely add this one to your list for A. Okay, B. A book that I don't hear many people talking about, so of course I gotta add it here. Brown Girl in the Ring by Nalo Hopkinson. This is speculative fiction. This was my first Nalo Hopkinson that I read, and it definitely will not be my last. A lot of the rich people in this town have fled, and now the inner city is left having to rebuild and figure out farming and, you know, basically having to figure out how to survive with the rubble that's left over. Okay, for C, we're going to go with Chlorine Sky by Mahogany Browne. I love this book. This is a young adult novel that is written in verse. It talks a lot about colorism. I would definitely recommend it for a lot of teens, teen girls specifically, because, you know, there's also some talks about friendship and also about standing up for yourself. D, we have The Dragons, the Giant, the Women by Wayetu More. I love this memoir. This is one of my favorite memoirs like ever. Wayetu tells us the story of her and her family fleeing Liberia and how scary that was, especially at the time where her mom is actually in New York studying. I cannot stress enough how much y'all need to pick this book up. And the way she ties in the title of this book with the actual events that are taking place, amazing, amazing. E. So for E, we're gonna go with You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty by Akwaeke Emezie. For this, I have used Emezie as the E. This is a very popular book, so y'all don't need me to dig deep into it, but basically this is fiction and it has some romance in it. There is a lot of messiness, there is grief, there is a sisterhood in this book, there is a lot of things that Akwaeke has infused this book with that will definitely keep you turning the pages. For F, we have The Fires of Vengeance by Evan Winter. This is book 2 in the Burning series. Book 1 is The Rage of Dragons. So that means you have to read book 1 if you want to read this one. This can't really tell you too much about it, but yes, there are dragons. Not that many dragons, but there's definitely dragons in this one. This is an African inspired fantasy novel, and this one follows a man named Tao, and Tao is a man on a mission for revenge. That's all I could tell you. That's all I could tell you. Okay, E, F, and then G. Now, I do have this book. I just cannot get to it right now. So I'm going to pop a picture somewhere. The Great Mrs. Elias by Barbara Chase Ribald. This is a historical fiction novel, but it is based on a real woman. She was a black woman who used her sexuality to very much get ahead in New York and to purchase lots of properties, making her a very wealthy woman, which made a lot of people very, very angry. Okay, H, we have How Beautiful We Were by Mbolu Mbui. This is a historical fiction novel set in a fictional African town about when colonizers come to these places and they suck up all the resources for themselves, and they leave the people that actually live in this town with nothing. Okay, this is that book. This is also when the people that have been left with nothing begin to get very fed up and do something about it. Get into that. Okay, In Every Mirror She's Black by Lola Akeme Akastrom. I love this duology. This is the book. This is book 1. Book 2 is Everything Is Not Enough. This is about 3 black women that have moved to Sweden, and they are now living there, and they are all connected to this man named Yanni, a very wealthy white man named Yanni, by the way. One is involved with him romantically, and 2 of them work for him. And this is about the black women in this story navigating their new lives in Sweden, whether it's where to get their hair done, where to get ingredients for food to eat and cook food that they are used to having. I loved the perspective of these black women living over in Sweden, and honestly, a lot of the things were very, very much the same, hence the title. You know, no matter where you go, you are a black woman, and you will be treated as such. Okay, J. Just As I Am by Cicely Tyson. I love this book. This is a memoir about the Queen, Cicely Tyson, and it's about her road to becoming the icon that we knew her as. I particularly love the parts of this book where she is being told, like, oh, you know, we want you to do these type of roles, or this is the type of role that's available, and she would literally turn it down if it was not, you know, aligning with her spirit and her morals. She ain't want to do the, you know, the sexy type of roles that they were giving to black women at the time. And she was like, no, I want to do roles that show my craft, you know. And this is just a story of standing up for what it is that you feel is for you, and not letting outside people tell you what it is you should be doing. So K is next, and we have Animal by Kawan. And Animal is a series about a guy named Animal, and Animal is he has a lot of enemies. He really just want to chill on the island and be with his family, but people just keep messing with him. They just keep messing with him, and they keep trying to get him to come back to the States, and they finally find a way to get him back to the States, and yeah, it ain't good for nobody. The streets is gonna bleed red when Animal is finished tearing it up, basically. I love this series. If you decide to pick this one up, make sure you pick up the first book where we meet Animal, which is called Ghetto Bastard by Kawan. Okay, L, we have Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds. This is a graphic novel version, which I have not read the graphic novel version. I read the regular version, but I don't have the regular version. I only have the graphic novel versions here. So we're gonna hold this up. The regular version is also written in verse, is a young adult novel, and it is about a kid. His brother has just passed away, and he is out for revenge, and he grabs a strap and he gets into that elevator, but it seems like it is the longest elevator ride in life because different people begin getting onto the elevator, and I can't tell you anything else, but there are things happening every time someone gets on this elevator. Jason Reynolds just does not disappoint. He knows how to write teens very well. I love how poetic this book is. It's just a good one. And I'm looking forward to getting into this graphic novel because I would love to see the art in this. Okay, the next one is M. And we're going to go with Lakewood by Megan Giddings. This is about a girl who was in college and she has to drop out because her grandmother passes away. And now the medical bills for her mom are insurmountable at this point, and she needs to do something. She ends up getting an invitation to do some clinical trials. The only catch is she cannot tell anybody that she's doing these clinical trials. She has to go to an area called Lakewood, and this is where they are doing it, and it gets wild after that. We don't know what's real, what's not real. They are pumping these people full of who knows what and waiting to see what happens. Very, very trippy book. You know, make sure your mental state is at its peak before you pick this one up, because yeah, no, that was affecting me. Okay, N, Night Crawling by Layla Motley. This is a book that I don't think I've spoken about here. This specific copy is very special to me because it has the Oprah's Book Club sticker on it. And in 2022, I was actually invited to be part of the book discussion with Oprah and the author Layla Motley, and I got to ask her some questions, and it was just a beautiful experience for me, and I will forever cherish it. This is a book about a young girl who, she is going through a lot. It just seems like nothing is just going right for this girl. I would not say that this is a happy story. She has she doesn't have any parents. She has a brother, and her brother is more concerned about getting his rap career off the ground than making sure that they eat. She also feels responsible for a young boy that lives in her building. So it's a lot. It's set in Cali. It feels very Cali. I would say that this book is extremely crushing. You know, some of the events that take place in this book, it just feels like nothing could go right. I will definitely let you know that this is not a happy book. So this is another one where you just gotta make sure that your mind is right. I love the way it's written. It's extremely poetic, and for this to be her debut novel, she did a very good job. Okay, we have One Blood by Deneen Milner. This is a book where we are following 3 black women, and they are all connected in some way, which I won't say. But this book talks a lot about the things that women feel like they have to do when they don't want to. Like what it means to be a wife, what it means to be a mother, maybe the things that you feel like you have to do as a wife to keep your husband. Just these expectations, I would say. A lot of them are discussed in this book, and I love this book so much. It's also historical fiction. Okay, P, The Perfect Ruin by Shanora Williams. This is a thriller. This book is about a woman named Ivy Hill, and Ivy feels like she grew up with the perfect childhood, the perfect family, and everything would have continued to be perfect in Ivy's life if it wasn't for this woman named Lola. Unbeknownst to Lola, Ivy is coming for her. Okay? She is coming to take back what she feels belongs to her, which is a good life. She is trying to infiltrate herself into Lola's life, into her business, everything. However, there's a lot of twists in this one. I thought that I had heard this story before, but yeah, no, I would definitely say get on into that one. Q. I don't have this copy. Queenie by Candace Carty Williams. We all know this book, Queenie. First of all, Q was hard. Can I just say that? Q was not easy for me to get, and I was shocked because I thought I had lots of Q books floating around here that I had read. Obviously, if I was just picking from my shelves, I got all the alphabet letters. I got them all. But I wanted to go with ones that I specifically could recommend, so that made it a little bit more of a challenge for me. Okay, so Queenie is about a girl named Queenie. She is a early 20s woman. She is in her first job out of college. She's just trying to figure out life. Her love life is kind of sucking right now. Her mental health is sucking. This is just a book about a black girl in the UK just really trying to figure things out, and she is failing miserably. And I think that that's the point of this book, is to show that we don't have to, black women meaning, we don't have to be all the way together. We struggle as well, you know. And it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to put it in books. It's very much okay. R. Riot Baby by Tochi Onyebuchi. I read this a few years back, so just give me a second. There's some superpowers in this one. There's some rebellion in this one. Yes, so black people, superpowers, and rebellion. Get into it. And that is also the first adult novel that I've read from Tochi Onyebuchi, and I will say that I like his adult fiction better than his young adult. S. We're gonna go with The Secret Lives of Church Ladies by Deisha Philyaw. I love this book. I'm not the biggest fan of short story collections, but I love this one. I absolutely love this one, and I'm so glad that I picked it up, because normally as soon as it says short story collection, I'm like, I'll wait for the novel. But I definitely picked this one up. It's not just a book about women in churches. There's so much more to each story in this book. The lowest rated one was a 3-star for me, and then the rest are like 4 and 5. Like, I love the stories in this book. It really resonated with me, some of them, because, you know, I'm a girl that grew up in the church, and I know the pressures of being in the church and being a woman in the church. Even when I go to my mom's church, sometimes somebody might say something to me that I find is inappropriate or invasive. So we just have to be really careful how we speak to especially young ladies that are coming into the church, you know, because some of the things that can be said could make them just like, you know what, I don't think I want to go there anymore, because I don't like the way they make me feel. People can make you feel like how you're living your life right now is just not enough. It's not a good way. In their eyes, it can be very judgy. So listen, I could go all day about this. Get into this book, okay? Get into this. Okay, T. We're gonna go with This Time Around by Kay Shanae. I love this book. This is a romance book. The characters are older. I love that as well. So we meet a woman named Tessa, and Tessa's daughter has decided to send her on a date with her professor named Cyrus. And when they meet, Tessa realizes that this is not the first time she's meeting this man. And that's all I'm gonna tell you. It's so good. I love Kay Shanae's romance. I really do. And I'm not really big on contemporary romance. Y'all know I love me some hood dudes in my romance. However, Cyrus, I love Cyrus. This is a book that is it's really showing like how black women need to be loved, need and want to be loved, okay? Because this man he really did not play about her, and he was just all about her. And I like that type of stuff in my romance. Okay. You is going to be on Black Sister Street by Chika Unigwe. I don't physically have a copy of that one, unfortunately, but I love this book. We are following a group of black women from Nigeria that have moved to Belgium, specifically Antwerp, Belgium, where they have a red light district. These women are sex workers, and they have all been sent there by a man named Deli. There is a small mystery inside of this book as well. And then we are getting the backstories of each of the women that live in this apartment. How did they meet Deli? How did they end up in Belgium? So many things. I loved getting these women's stories. I love that there seemed to be this kind of camaraderie between all of them, even though some of them, you know, you kind of mess with some more than you mess with others. And I just like that they still, at the end of the day, stuck together. Okay, B is going to be The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. Y'all know what this book is about. It's on passing. It's on colorism. Twin sisters that have gone their separate ways. One decided to continue living her life as a black woman, and the other decided, you know what, I really deserve the finer things in life, and I deserve all the privilege that comes with being a white woman, so I want to be a white woman. As she lives her life as a white woman, somehow, some way, they end up reconnecting, and lots of things happen. I love this book so much. And I would love for Britt Bennett to come out with something new, because I'm tired of recommending this. I need something fresh. I want to recommend something else. Okay, so that was VW. The Warmth of Other Suns by Isabel Wilkerson. My favorite nonfiction book. This is about the Great Migration. You guessed it. The Great Migration. This is narrative nonfiction, so the way it is written reads like fiction. If you are squeamish about reading nonfiction, this is a book I want you to pick up. Yes, it's very thick, but I promise you it is so worth it. And I'm pretty sure the narration is done by Robin Miles. And you already know Robin Miles is going to eat every time. So trust her. Trust me. Get into this book. You learn so much. And you feel so much smarter when you finish reading it. And you feel so accomplished. And I'm going to put it down because it's very heavy. It's super heavy. X was very hard, so I'm gonna cheat a little bit, and I'm gonna go with The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. I don't physically own this book, and obviously the X is on the back end of the title, but you know, it should be fine. The book that I'm looking to read for this year's challenge for myself for this one is going to be a book called X. See? So I will be within the guidelines, okay? So The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. This is about a young girl. This is another young adult novel that is written in verse. Do y'all see the trend here? I'm very particular about my young adult novels, but the ones that I read in verse, they just hit so different, because a lot of them are written by people that are actual poets. So it just flows so much. It just flows. It's just the lines that are in this book. It's just so good. I really, it's just too good, you know? This is about a girl, and she's young, and she's really just trying to figure out herself. Her mom is a bit overbearing. You know, she wants her to, you know, be on the straight and narrow and go to school and come home. And the main character, she really just kind of want to live life. She want to explore things. And her mother does not want that at all. She is into poetry. She wants to do these poetry slams. And her mom is like, no, I don't want that for you. You need to have your head in the books, basically. But yeah, Elizabeth Acevedo, she's just this was my first book by her, and I knew that she is definitely a problem. Why? Yonder by Jabari Asim, who I hope is writing right now, because I want him to write a new book. He is also a poet, and I can tell the way he writes sentences is just top notch. I highlighted so many parts of this book. This is about a group of characters that are enslaved and they are trying to get to freedom. Some of these characters are afraid to love because of so much that has been taken away from them. And I think that that's what this book is about. Loving in spite of. I knew that I would love this book because it literally calls the enslaved people the stolen. I love that this book pretty much calls it what it is, you know. Okay, Z, we have Pride by Emezie. Z was a hard one too, by the way. This is another young adult novel. I used to read a lot of young adult novels, I will say. It is a retelling of Pride and Prejudice, and we are following two families, and one family, the Darcy family, moves in, and these are like the boys, and then the characters that we are following are like the girls. Is a girl and her sister, and they're kind of like, our main character doesn't really want this family in this neighborhood. Like, she fights with one of the brothers a lot. It's like she like him, but she don't want to like make it known, whereas her sister is like, oh, I like his brother, and that's where I'm gonna go over there, you know. Our main character is more, because this is set in New York, by the way, and our main character is more concerned with the fact that everything is becoming gentrified and she cannot stand that. She's trying to fight against that. Yeah, this is just a cute novel. It's just so cute. Especially if you have teens and they live in New York. I love how Emezie writes this in a very young teen's New York voice. You know, I love it. I love it. It felt extremely authentic to me. Okay. Woo. A to Z. That was a lot of books. Hopefully this video is not too long, but I hope that you have enjoyed it. I am very much looking forward to doing this challenge this year. I invite you to join us. Again, the link is down below if you would like to. Also, if you want to know some of the books that I'm considering for my own A to Z, let me know down in the comments. Make sure you give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this. And if this is your first time here, make sure that you subscribe for more bookish content. And I will catch y'all in the next video. Bye!